Hey everyone, John again, and from Second Moonshot, and just do a couple updates, and then what I'm going to talk about is just a little flair or a little variation on using Gemini mailers, and what I've kind of learned and kind of moved towards. Before we get into that, just a couple updates on the Ryobi glue gun. Still love it. It's I'm not going to use it today because I don't need it, but the only issues with it, the battery life is okay. I ended up buying probably 4 or 5 more batteries because I have a lot of Ryobi tools and continue to swap them out, so that's works out really good actually. The tip, as you can see, the rubber on the tip came off, but they do sell I don't know, exclusively at Home Depot, but for about 15 bucks you can get some additional tips, although you don't technically need the rubber. It may keep it from burning your hand or something like that, but not a big issue, so I'll use it as long as it continues to work. Overall, I'm very pleased with it and still highly recommend it. The other thing on the other one I did was kind of making your own book mailers, and I use those for pretty much anything that's unbreakable, that I can ship, that is generally rectangular, square, cube shaped or so forth, that's reasonably small. I've got a book here that that I was going to do. We just flip the camera over and it kind of just show the only real do that a little bit, that's better. The only real difference is just where I do the cuts. Before I was doing a cut down the middle. Now I just cut it so that it overlaps perfectly. So we'll go ahead and just glue that, and generally just flip that right over. The other piece that I'll do is I'll glue it on the back, and then just put that glued right down here. And then again, you'll see here how that's going to fit together nicely. I did kind of pre-cut this before I did it. Throw the glue right on here and seal that. And then, because I really don't like to depend on the glue, and throw a little branding on there, but we'll just throw a piece of tape right on the edge that'll also hold it till the glue dries. And that's kind of the end result there, and it looks really good. Had very favorable comments on it, on the security, and for pretty much everywhere, at least at the top to bottom has two layers of cardboard on it, so that's really good. Got a little extra space there for the corner protection, and it works really good. So just an update on that, and just kind of tweaking it. So the main thing that I wanted to go over, so I'm not going to use the glue gun anymore, so we'll turn that off and kind of slide that out of the way. The main thing I'm going to do is, someone bought, I've been selling a lot of comic books lately. Let's flip that back up. So I've been selling a lot of comic books lately. I don't do, a ton. A lot of the more valuable ones I'm doing on consignment for some neighbors and some local stores that want me to sell them online for them. In this case, I got a Black Goliath, issue number 3, probably from, what is that, from 1976. Not particularly valuable. Gemini mailers probably cost more valuable than the comic book itself, but someone bought it, and I've got the previous YouTubes that I've watched had it where you take the mailer and then you're gonna fold it all in, and then the big concern was relative to water damage, or water getting into it, and so they had put tape over the ends of it. That turned out really awkward. The tape isn't really wide enough to properly stick to it. It came off. I didn't like the technique. And the other thing that they had was that they wanted you to, or they recommended, putting tape so it doesn't shift. And I get the concept where you don't want the comic book moving around in there, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. And the Gemini mailers, I know that they're strong, but they're thin. So what I've done, I'm going to flip the camera back down, and you're going to kind of see what I'm doing with it. It's nothing rocket science here. I cut lots of these blanks that fit basically slightly larger than the comic book, so I've got 50, 75 of them ready to go whenever I sell a comic book. And I just put the comic book in there, throw in my insert into it, put the other cardboard sheet on top of it. And I use a ton of stretch wrap, and to a large degree to protect it from the water. So I'll wrap that up in the cardboard, and this may kick it up from 8 ounces to 12 ounces, and so be it. But doing it this way, I use a lot of the stretch wrap. So then we'll just put that right in here. It fits right in. Fold it over. Fold that over. Fold this over here. Fold this over here. And all pretty straightforward. Go ahead and do it. Cut a piece of tape for it. And that's all good. Now the other final piece that we'll do is that I'm always a little concerned that occasionally I'll pack stuff and I'll come in the next day to take it to the post office, and some of the tape will have lifted off. That may have been the tape. It doesn't really matter what it is, but I just wanted a little peace of mind. So I've been kind of just doing a wrap around it. That'll just keep it closed, and I'll do that on both ends. So by doing this, by using this method, ensuring that it's staying secure, it's not going to open up by accident. Yes, there is a little space in there, but if water did happen to get in, it's protected by the stretch wrap, and that works out really good. And I've shipped some relatively valuable comics this way. Sometimes if it's a really valuable one, I'll use even thicker double layer corrugated and protect it that way as well. So this basically has 2 layers of cardboard everywhere for the most part, and feel very confident with those. So let's flip it back up. So I'm gonna cut it short. This will be one of my shorter ones. I'm sure you guys will appreciate that, and see if I can do a couple more this year. Thanks to my 2 commenters, who was it? Ben and Joe, who added comments on there. So I've got 1 follower or 1 subscriber to the channel. So it's probably one of you guys. Thanks a lot, and Happy New Year, and talk soon. Bye.